Good morning. Good morning. Hey, y'all. I'm so excited to be back in the room. It's a
Hey,
Lord Wednesday.
well, well,
Well.
well,
Rise
Lord.
up, faith room. And we are glad to be in your house, in your car, in your office, wherever you're watching us from. We're
Mhm.
glad you're here. So, listen, y'all know what we do. We come in and we speak. That's just the courteous thing to do. And then after we speak, we start to declare our day. What is that? We put it in the atmosphere. What kind of day we are going to be intentional about
Yes,
having, right? And then after
yes.
that, we want you to get busy. Roll up your sleeves,
Tag.
start tagging and sharing this goodness. Put this on your timeline. Those of you who are over on YouTube, hit the share button and start
Mhm.
texting it to people. Start
Yeah.
emailing the link to people so that nobody misses out. Pastor Nate, what's up?
What's up, Cherie?
Hey,
It's another day. It's you know what I do on Wednesdays.
what you do?
All I do is win, 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 no matter what.
What you do?
Got winning on my mind. It's a winning Wednesday over here for me.
All right.
Yeah, how you holding today on this Wednesday? What you?
I'm a well,
Well,
Lord.
well, well.
I am excited. I feel like I've been gone for a minute from y'all. Um, so I'm just glad to be
Necessary.
back in the room. I,
Yeah,
I was
it
trying
was
to
necessary.
I was trying to watch the replay yesterday, but I had to have it on mute because my earbuds, the battery died in my Bluetooth stuff. So I was just
Nah.
watching it on mute with the
But you did it though.
closed
You hit
cap.
it.
But yeah. So
And all of your time away was necessary with school and rest. And we ain't apologizing for mental health and taking care of business. So it was necessary.
yes, sir. I didn't realize just how much I subscribe to the grind culture, but I'm gonna step away from that a little bit.
Come on here.
I
You
gotta
got this.
get things in order. So yeah.
Yes. We are happy that you were able to celebrate 50 years with Greater Life.
Yes. Y'all
Yes,
had a phenomenal weekend.
we
Um,
did.
and believe it or not, I could see the Saints going into the building from my room. Uh,
Wow.
yeah, I wanted to see the fashions and such since y'all was dressing up.
Dressing up.
Yeah,
But we are here. Cherie hung out with us, and you know what? The weather was good too for
it
you.
was nice. The Lord was kind. He's like, I ain't gonna
It
let
was
you go out
kind,
there like that, girl. I gotta make
and
something. Because I
you
didn't
made
think
it
I
to
was
the
gonna
beach.
make it to the beach, but I made it on my
You made
last
it to the
day.
beach. I
I
saw
made
that.
it to the beach,
I
child.
saw that.
Yes.
That beach life. Listen, y'all. Right now, if you're watching, hit like. I need to see those likes going up right now on Facebook
Oh, let me see.
and YouTube. Like. All right. Like. Let's do that, everybody. I can't see it on my computer, my laptop, but likes should be going up on the phone. T Long, what's up, baby? Scotty, like. Let's go, y'all. What's up, Matt? Matt, good to see y'all
I
this
did
morning.
get barbecue. Let me tell y'all something. Y'all better go on up there. Was it Alpine?
Alpine.
Get there.
So
Get there.
uh, it has your approval,
It
sure.
has my approval.
All
If
right.
I live closer, I know I can't go from Arkansas to California just to get no food, but baby, if I lived in California, I would make that drive every now and then.
To Alpine.
I would.
How was the
All
weather
right.
there? Cold,
It was
cool?
it was it was chilly, more so for y'all. I had on a hoodie and a
Okay.
jacket. That was good. But I saw people in there with like boots, a hat, a coat. I'm like, wow.
60s here. I said the 60s
Yeah,
is pretty considered chilly
it shakes y'all down
in
there.
these parts. Yep. So it's all good. Come on in, everybody. Good morning to you. And listen, we have a special guest, licensed
Ew.
therapist in the room, Yvette Currie. Finally, y'all, finally she was
Finally.
able to work us in her schedule.
Yeah.
And so if you know anybody who needs to be in the room, we're dealing with mental health in lieu of it being Mental Health Awareness Month. And so I'm happy to have professional expertise, Cherie, in the room today, sis.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're excited about what's going to happen today. So
let me shout out Sheila Gray, who put me up on a new coffee spot. The Coffee Bean.
The Coffee Bean.
Told me before I left home, you need to go to the Coffee Bean, because I tried out. We have a new spot here called Seven Brew. So I posted about it. So she said, you need to, when you come to San Diego, you need to go to the Coffee Bean. And honey, I did. And I love it. So thank you, Sheila. Then I want to thank all the saints. Nate, they were sending me cash out here. Go to Starbucks on me. Go to Starbucks.
Wow.
Thank y'all so much. And I did it. I went to Starbucks. I got coffee. Now, there really weren't any around where I was staying.
Uh-huh.
So what I did is I had to go to the store, and I just went and bought my own coffee, because that in that room,
that coffee in the room, nope.
Never heard of it.
So no.
So I went and bought my own coffee, bought my own creamer. So I was good. And, you know, when I would wake up in the morning, I had to have a cup of coffee. And then sometimes when I got back to the room.
Shout out to the Coffee Bean. Y'all pay us for advertising y'all. Somebody tag the Coffee Bean.
Coffee Bean. Listen, let me do that for y'all.
Tag them, Cherie.
I want to shout out Sheila. Good looking out.
She likes it. All right, Marilyn, good to see you this morning. Listen, if there are any first timers in the faith room, because I don't want to hold our therapist up because she got clients. Yeah. So we're going to be shorter than usual. If there are any first timers, type in the number 1 and let us know where you're watching from. Any first timers, type in the number 1, let us know where you're watching from. And we're excited about that. Faith room, we were able to give Pastor Eddie Balltrip, we wanted to be a blessing to him. We were able to give him over $500.
Awesome.
Many of you sent in seeds. So I want to thank you, Faith Room. Again, we don't apologize for being a blessing to other people. And Cherie, even if people don't bless you, you don't worry about that. Our job is to be a blessing to them.
What am I supposed to do? Yeah.
You do your job, and God will take care of you. All right. That's a seed that all of us put in the ground. And guess what, Cherie? It's got to bring a harvest.
Yeah.
It may not come when you want it to come. But guess what? That harvest.
Just in the nick of time.
It's going to come right on time. I know. So thank God for everybody who sowed seed.
And so y'all look for a harvest too.
Come on. Absolutely.
You put something in on that.
Come on, Cherie. Absolutely. 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 All right, so we're excited about that. Listen, y'all, we're going to also encourage you to go, and you still have time. We've extended, Cherie, our registration for the meetup. All right, we've extended it to May the 20th. May the 20th. So you can go online now to www.thefaithroom.com, and you can register through May 20th, y'all.
Look at the calendar. What day is that?
Yeah, check it out.
That's the week of. That's May 20th it's next Saturday.
Next Saturday. Then we got to close it down, y'all. May 20th. And then, of course, if you're in Atlanta, you can come the day of registration. Of course, if you pick one day, you got to pay the full reg price. But we would love for you to come to be a part of this meetup. And for those of you who wanted this, it's here for you. And of course, we're excited about what the Lord is going to do in that place. May the 20th, guys, it's extended $150. All right. That's for Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And y'all, that's compared to some of these conferences folk be going to, Cherie, thousands of dollars and all that.
Yeah.
But hey, we ain't trying to make no money. We're trying to save your life and help your soul go higher. So we're believing God. And every day, because it's crunch time, some of you said you were going and couldn't make it. But we're going to give everybody an opportunity to sow into this conference, man.
Yeah. I'm
not apologizing for that. The sacrifice is real for Cherie and I every day, Monday through Friday, man. It's real. The load is heavy, but we're here because it's a call on our life. And so We're going to give everybody an opportunity to sow into this platform, but more importantly, into the Meetup 2023 in Atlanta, Georgia. Sharika put up the link, $ the Faith Room 1, and you can register to be a blessing. And just know your presence is seen through your seed, even though you're not physically there. Your presence is seen through your seed. Okay, so make sure that you seek God. Cherie, it's worth it. What do you say, sis? I think it is
absolutely worth it. I would say, and not to brag on us in our team, but we have done our due diligence to make it a healthy balance. Like, you got the fun, you got the empowerment, and then you got the intimacy of worship. So it's a healthy balance across the board. You won't be disappointed. Trust me. Now,
Absolutely.
I will say it is, and I believe that we got this taken care of. My part, the conversation with the co-host, is now closed.
Yes.
So I won't be taking any more for that. But the registration for the conference itself has been extended, and so once I get a hold of the list from whoever already registered for the VIP thing with the co-host, and you may get some kind of correspondence from me with instructions.
Right.
So be on the lookout for that.
Once you get a hold to it.
Once you get a hold to it. Once I get a hold to the list.
I ain't heard that in a long time.
Yeah. You know why I'm talking.
It's Tamika Jones say, I can't wait.
Ain't wait.
Yeah, and those who are on the team, we'll be having a meeting soon. So
Soon and very soon.
Soon and very soon.
They're reaching out to me. I'm reaching out to him. Y'all, I done said it 4 times to him.
What's that, Cherie?
The team is reaching out to me. I'm telling them I have been reaching out to you.
My mom.
He's a busy man.
Y'all listen. For both of our lives, this is just one part of it. I'll never.
A very small part.
Woo! Y'all ain't got time. Y'all, so you want to be a senior pastor? Y'all holler at me before you sign up,
baby. So you think you can pastor?
Ooh, because y'all see Sunday morning, everybody shouting and bumping into each other.
Ooh.
Richard Miller. But
you don't see Sunday right before I just walked out.
Come on here.
You don't see Monday morning, Wednesday afternoon. You don't see any of those things.
Cherie, I woke up yesterday to and I posted this yesterday, a very encouraging text message.
I saw that. That is so beautiful.
This right when you need it the most. Most times I get messages, 99% of the time, it's bad news. And I asked pastors that are around the country, they said, man, 99% of correspondence, communication, is either drama, somebody done did something, somebody dead, somebody's marriage going down the drain, go to court with somebody, my mama dying, my cousin's sick. It is psychological. You need to pray for your pastor. I'm telling y'all, I speak for Richard Miller. I speak for Tony Johnson. I speak for Pastor Eric Alexander. Every senior pastor, you need to pray for them. Yes, and every now and then, send your pastors just some encouragement.
Yeah.
Send them some encouragement because, man, it is psychological. Listen, this thing is real. You talk about mental health month for pastors. Yeah, man, it's real out here and people will never understand it. Even you, Cherie, what you do day to day with ministry, man, it's just, so I want to thank those who just encourage. And again, y'all, we're called to hear problems and called to be shepherds, but
we're also called to rest.
Absolutely.
No longer will I view rest as a reward. Rest is my due diligence. I'm supposed to rest. It's not something I'm working toward. So, and yeah.
That part.
And so, like, before I even got to my house yesterday, I was met with somebody want me to do something. Bad news. I'm like, Lord, I can't come back from all of that relaxation and rest and recharging and recentering to come back to the same thing. And it just made me feel some kind of way because let me tell y'all something. Sometimes we feel like y'all are, what pastors say, inconsiderate.
Mm-hmm.
No, do you ever think?
Yep. I think I'm going to do something this month for pastors. That's just confirmation. Mental health awareness.
Yep.
The pastor edition.
Yep.
There's some pastors right now on that bridge. I'm telling you what I know. All right. So yeah, be considerate, y'all, of your man of God, your woman of God. They may never tell you, they may never show it, but trust Pastor Nate, because I'm in the grind.
Yeah.
Right.
It goes back to the question we always ask: who encourages the encourager?
Absolutely.
Who pours into the man and woman of God? Most times it's always pulling and not pouring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think this, Cherie, we got to do this. We got to do the pastor's edition. We got to, because it's just critical that we do it. But I'm going to say this: if pastors don't find a balance, there's no way a pastor can do this long term and survive physically. It's just, if there's no balance, healthy balance, ain't no way he can make it or she can make it.
It's going to eventually take a toll. And normally it comes through a mental breakdown or your physical body. It's going to manifest if we don't get a hold of it. There's that word again. If we don't get a hold to this rest concept, that is not something I'm working toward. When we don't do it, it's self-violence.
Say it again.
That's self-violence. We're being mean to our own selves. But that's how we've been conditioned through the years to pour into other people at the expense of our own mental wellness.
Come on, Cherie.
After this last bout, I'm not doing that no more. I just thank God he allowed me another chance to get back to where I needed to be. So I had to be very intentional. People were texting me, asking me questions about ministry. I'm not answering. I'm not answering nobody. I hope they didn't get offended. I didn't answer them. I didn't tell them why I'm not answering. I don't owe nobody an explanation right now.
Cherie said, nope.
No. I even had to tell myself, because I was like, okay, I got downtime. Let me listen to some podcasts on leadership and on ministry. No, do not hit that button.
I love my sister.
Yourself. That was.
I think I'm gonna do a pastor's edition. That's confirmation, Cherie. Thank you so much, because that's just confirming what I believe we need to do. Let's do this, co-host. Let's go on and get the question of the day, so we won't have to pay all of Yvette Currie,
all for her clients.
Her clients that she's missing right now. Come on, y'all. Question of the day. And then Cherie, you know what they was in here talking about yesterday, girl?
What?
Where's a good place to go meet single men, single people? Where do single folk go to meet folk? That was the question. It was all.
That was the question of the day?
No, it was one question.
Just a question in the room.
Yeah, but that was pretty interesting.
Did anybody have an answer?
Home Depot led. Church was at the bottom, because they say you can't meet no man at church.
Not done that.
Somebody said jogging around the bay, going through the jog. Some people say they out of shape, so they have to walk around the bay. So either one.
But you're being found exercising.
Yeah. Some Starbucks. That was some boo ups at Starbucks. Starbucks.
Yeah, I guess I need to go in there and sit down, because I do my mobile order. I just walk in, pick up my stuff, and go back to my car. Or I'm going through the drive-thru. Let me park and go sit down. Take my laptop in there.
Man, listen. But anyway, it was a good discussion yesterday in your absence, sis.
Home Depot, ladies, you go in there looking cute and act helpless.
That's it.
Damsel in distress.
And Cherie,
and
have you tried it out?
No. I've been advised to, but I haven't. Wow. I haven't done it yet.
So
that's right, because I ain't had time.
Oh, that's the why. Not that you don't want to. You ain't had time.
You be grinding.
All right. Cherie, let's jam for the lamb.
Here we go. Well, I guess I should put up here we go.
Yo, Faith Room, what's my
Oh.
man?
Hey, you still know how to dance?
I ain't gonna never forget how they. Hey.
Question of the day.
Oh.
Faith Room, stand it up. It's time for the question of the day.
Here we go.
Hey.
You here with Pastor Nate and Pastor Sharia. They here to give you what you need to be free. This is the place with real people and real problems and real questions. They through. Stand up. Yeah, come on, y'all. It's time for the question of the day. Stand up. It's time for the question of the day.
Hey. Go on, girl. Oh, it's that rap for me when you do that.
Hey. Boom.
I'm gonna call that the bird.
All right. So the last time I was here, I asked y'all about a song that you never ever have to hear again. And the list was hilarious. Today, I want to know, what is the one song that you could leave on repeat and never get tired of hearing it?
Oh my, that's a good question. That's
One
easy.
of my friends texted me. She was like, last time, Cherie, they're telling you the songs they don't ever want to hear, and you're on there singing the entire song. They just said they don't want to hear it.
And you singing it.
I'm sorry, I did, child.
That's
My
something I
bad.
would do.
My bad.
Let's see. Now you can sing away right now.
Well, I was gonna do it anyway, child. It's just in me. I can't help myself.
Can't help
myself.
Yeah.
Love
I
you.
love you and nobody else.
Well done. Usher. Well done. Well done. Talking about Deitrick Haddon. Say Yes by Floetry. Lord, they're going. You Move, I Move, John Legend.
Come on.
Is that Janine Aiko? Praise Is What I Do. A House Is Not a Home. Sweet is Taboo.
Praise is what I do.
That's old.
Yeah, boy. That's old gospel.
Preparing Me. Never Would Have Made It. Can We Talk? Can we talk? Okay. Emotion by H-Town. Eve, Tambourine. Stand by Donnie McClurkin. Incredible God by J.J. Hairston. Youthful Praise. What You Want to Do for Love. Grateful. Step Aside by Yolanda Adams. Apple Tree. Erykah Badu. Summertime. Will Smith. That go hard. Ain't That Just Like God? Anthony Hamilton. Giving You the Best of Me. Giving You the Best of Me. Hey.
I like that one.
Amazing. Yeah. I thank God for it all. I Love You, Lenny Williams. Just Came Here to Chill by Ron Isley. Bad Mama Jamma. Endow Me, the Clark Sisters. Anything by Charlie Wilson.
Anything.
Right. I'll always love my mama. That's John Ty said that. Deliver Me by Donald Lawrence. I Smile.
Lord, deliver me.
That ain't one of my favorites. That's one I would have put on that other list. Unstoppable. Cause I'm unstoppable. I get all the way in. Hey, that's Corinne Hawthorne. Smile by Kirk Franklin and Lauryn Hill. Tell Him. Anything by Janet Jackson. Anything by Fred Hammond. And Amazing by Hezekiah Walker. Summertime, Will Smith.
Summertime.
Yes, that's a good ride in the car with your drop top back, windows down, right?
God wants a yes.
God wants a yeah. Oh yeah. You see me being all the parts of the choir.
You the human. I told you the walking jukebox.
I Got It by Pastor Mike Jr. Voyage to Atlantic by the Isley Brothers. All of Andre Crouch songs. Anything that is old school. Soul to Soul. Back to Life. Back
to reality.
Okay. Anything by Janet Jackson, anything by Anthony Hamilton, PYT.
Pretty
I
young
want
thing.
to love you. PYT.
Pretty young thing.
I had t-shirts with that on when I for my skate ring when I went to the skate ring.
You know what's surprising? I ain't heard nothing about Bone Thugs and Harmony. Boom, 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 boom.
Earth, Wind, and Fire. That's the way of the world.
Rick, did I tell you that? I told you that story. I'm at a funeral. You know how you be sitting with your Bible ready to, I had my notes going through the program.
Preach.
And so they did the slideshow. Sure, I'm like this. Next thing I know, boom, 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 boom. Tell me what you gonna do when it ain't nowhere to hide. When judgment come, it's gonna come.
Y'all are out there on the West Coast. Y'all different.
Jesus, Uncle Charlie.
Well, Lord, Bobby Womack.
They crip walking. They listen. They
in the funeral.
If I'm lying, the show will end if I'm lying to you. I went up and went to the bathroom and text my cousin and said they in here crip walking. Where you at, a cookout? A funeral.
The cookout.
I said, I'm at a funeral,
Oh,
dog.
God.
I'm so messy. I'm putting the phone up. I say, messy.
And because nobody's paying attention to you. They don't even know you're doing that.
Listen, y'all, if you're from the West Coast, all right, if you go down south, it's down
south, we would have been clutching our pearls and like, oh my God.
Boom, 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 boom. I would never forget that all the days of my life. Tell me what you gonna
Michael
do.
Jackson, Nita Baker, I love you just because I love you just because I do. Yes, and you. Come on, Nita.
Come on. I thought you were gonna say, come on, Nate. Dang.
Child, now. Why would I invite you to sing with me? Carly Wilson, I'm blessed. Featuring T.I.
Sweet Love. Give me that one. How that go, Cherie? Sweet Love, Anita Baker.
No, that's Rapture, right? Yeah, I was gonna sing Caught Up in the Rapture. Sweet Love.
Caught up in the rapture. All right, we gotta go.
I feel no shame of in love.
Isley Brothers.
Sweet love.
Richard Miller.
Richard.
Come on, Rich.
That was on. I saw them on a talk show the other day. What's name got everybody with the gray beard now? Because he came out with that Zaddy vibe back in the pandemic when we was doing the verses. Remember that? I said, wait a minute, where the other Ron eyes at? This don't look like him.
Why they messing with Bobby Brown like that, showing all his videos on that reunion tour?
The mighty clouds of joy. He looks, bless his heart, Lord. Y'all, you can't be. We ain't young no more. So if you gonna go back on that road, you gotta get that body right. Bobby was like, Then he just started walking. They jump and he just walking. Yeah. We love you, Bobby.
Man, that's funny, boy. Hey, y'all, listen. We're gonna shift right now. Come on down.
All right.
You always.
No.
You always.
You did that.
He was sweating. He was
putting that work in, but yeah, it was getting him.
Whew, Cherie. You always do this when we good. Oh man. Listen, y'all, we are gonna shift to a serious conversation. This month, the month of May, Cherie, is Mental
Awareness Month.
Yeah, Mental Health Awareness Month, and we're kicking off the week in the Faith Room. Of course, short week, but we are going to keep this going. Tomorrow, we actually have another mental health specialist coming in, Miss Anita Fisher. But today, y'all, I want you to welcome to the Faith Room for the first time. She's a partner at first time partner at Greater Life Church. She's done a lot to help our small group. She works with our Christian education.
Okay.
She did a whole piece on grief, helping us with grief management and things of that nature. Y'all welcome to the room, licensed therapist Yvette Currie. Come on, y'all, and give her a faith room welcome. And, we're so happy she's here.
Good morning.
Good morning.
She's a comedian as well. She is super funny. So don't get it twisted. She's super funny, but she is actually one of the best things that happened in my life as far as being there with me. Yvette, quit acting surprised. I tell you this all the time. She's like,
it touches my heart. It touches my heart. That's it.
It never gets old. Say it again.
She encourages me. She texts me. She's the one, Cherie, that keeps Pastor Nate
That's good
above this water of life and ministry. And she actually helped me co-teach a class called Monday Manna, how to study the Bible. And we did a mirror moment that Yvette was responsible for, with just looking deeper.
I remember you took pictures of that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yvette got me in the morning doing breathing.
See, you need that on your team. You need that.
All that. That's her. Breathing. Breathe. Exhale.
Somebody that's helping you help you.
Yep. And that's Yvette. That's Yvette Currie. So it's Mental Health Awareness Month, Yvette. And yesterday we gave a working definition of mental health. And I wanted to put it up. And then I'm going to have Cherie, who is phenomenal with interviewing. She's going to start the interview off. But yesterday we laid a foundation that mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It affects how we think, feel, and how we act. It also helps determine how we handle stress, how we relate to others, and how we make healthy choices. So that was the working definition. And we also stated that it's important, as Cherie just placed it up there, in every stage of our life, Yvette, from childhood, adolescence, and even adulthood. And of course, mental illness affects every stage of lives, as we've stated. Now, yesterday, I wanted to put out, before we got into the whole psychological aspect, professionalism of the mind and why we do stuff, is that, as believers in Christ, we talked about we have authority. We are not weak in Jesus.
Come on.
I believe the foundation, before you buy any book or book your ticket to Dr. Phil, we as believers must understand that our foundation for breakthrough is Jesus Christ. Okay? With God, all things are possible. He's given us authority to tread over serpents and sickness and disease. That's all through the Bible. One scripture that we talked about was Psalm 34, as it relates to the Lord is close to the brokenhearted, and he saves those who are crushed in spirit. All right. That's very important for us to understand, that God is close to those who are brokenhearted and who are troubled in their spirit. Another psalm we looked at was Psalm 73 yesterday. The writer said, my flesh and my heart may fail me, but God is the strength of my heart and my portion forever. Again, our foundation, Faith Room, is God. We believe that God can help us through mental illness, mental health challenges. But as we deal with God, we also must respect therapy.
Come on now.
We also must respect those who, that's it, Yvette, who have been trained to help us navigate through these waters of life. And so we believe we have the right person in the room today. And she's going to share, again, she's going to reel you in. Just watch it. She's going to reel you in. But Cherie, I'm going to let you kind of lead this discussion. Okay. And Richard is in the comments. I'll be watching the comments, and we'll see what the Lord does today.
Can I make one comment before we start the interview?
Absolutely.
I'm honored and humbled to be in here, and thank you. seeing all the work, some of the work that goes on behind the scenes late at night, last night, we're texting, the amount of care that you put into each program. It is really, it's phenomenal. And thank you for the work you're doing, how much you're concerned. It's obvious. So I'm humbled because I hear pearls being dropped all the time in this show. And I'll be getting ready to type something in. I'm like, oh, they already said that. Oh, they got it. They worded it in a way better than I would have worded it. So there's a lot of wisdom in here that's happening. That's already happening. And so it's an honor to be here. Okay.
We appreciate that.
Absolutely. Thank you, Yvette.
Yes. And so with all that being stated, everything Pastor Nate has stated on yesterday and even today, let's go ahead and get into it. Miss Yvette, first of all, let's establish what we're talking about, because maybe some people, with it being Mental Health Awareness Month, that means we're making people aware or knowledgeable of what it's all about. So for the sake of definition, let's just say that. Can you tell the room in I guess in the simplest way, what exactly is mental health, or what does that encompass?
Yes, I'm using the perspective of cognitive behavioral. It's a very well-researched perspective. It's a perspective that I use, a methodology I use. I agree with it. And it's looking at mental health, overall wellness, looking at your thoughts or your cognitions. Okay, so what's happening here? Your feelings, your emotions. Okay, what's happening here? And then your behaviors and what's coming out of your mouth. So those three components, kind of looking at how those work together or they don't, is how I would define it.
So the mind, the emotions, and the behavior. They all need to work in a good, cohesive manner. And so if one is off, there needs to be a concern. A red flag should go up. That's what you're saying. If something's off. Okay.
Yeah.
You got that?
If something's off, take a look. Yes.
Pause. Because that was going to lead me to my next question. Why is it so important for us to understand what mental wellness and mental health is all about? Because I think for a lot of people, we kind of get mental illness and mental health. They're not the same, so to speak.
Right.
So some people be like, well, I'm not mentally ill, so I'm good. It's not exactly the same. They meet, but they're not the same. Is that correct? Why is it important for us to understand this whole mental wellness piece?
I think it's empowering, for one thing. And there's so many shows that you guys have done where we've kind of commented here and there, and I kind of draw back to one of the conversations you guys had previously. If you don't know what you're dealing with, it's like the truth will set you free. If the truth is not out on the table, what are we talking about?
Come on.
Then how can you deal with what are we talking about? And an example I would give where it's very disempowering is just in the medical sense. And I am not dispensing medical advice, by the way, or trying to take the place of a therapist that you already use, by the way. Okay. Is, the prevalence of prostate cancer in men because of a fear of getting checked out. Okay. So it's like, to know what it is that you actually have going on, well, then you can do something about it.
That's good.
You can address it. So this isn't judgy. This isn't all of that. Let's lay the facts on the table. Let's be factual and strategic about it. So. Okay.
That's good. So you got to know in order to, what's the word? You got to know what's going on in order to attend to it.
Right.
So, so just being ignorant to it, that doesn't mean you're well. It just means you're not attending to the sickness.
And it's no excuse to be ignorant to it. If you don't know, learn.
I like Tracy quoted something you said. If the truth is not on the table, how can you deal with what you're going through? You got to be truthful. Not talking about it doesn't make it go away.
Right.
So from a therapist's perspective, what are I think this is a good segue. What are some things or some common myths or untruths that we kind of tell ourselves when it comes to mental wellness? Or mental health?
Oh, I got this list all ready to go. My notes, I'm such a nerd. So you may have to cut me off, but the first one that I put at the top that I see, and I'm going off of the experiences I've had, the people I've seen in my office, what I've seen to be true, effective and ineffective over probably the past 20 years. Okay. So that's what I'm going off of. It doesn't mean I'm right about everything. So keep your critical thinking going, in what I have to say. But the first myth is people coming in with a belief system that because I feel it, it must be true. And so I want to dispel that myth with the statement that feelings are not facts.
That's good.
So this one can be tremendously freeing and tremendously empowering if you think about it in the terms of where people can get stuck and really hung up is having a belief system that's buried down in there. Sometimes it's not right at the first question I ask. They might not be able to kind of riff with me exactly articulately what's going on. But it's beliefs that are held that they're helpless, they're hopeless, they're powerless, that their identity is victim. Okay. And so it was so wonderful hearing the repetition with Pastor Nate yesterday. I have the authority. I have authority through Christ Jesus. I have authority. And so that is a very important thing where we can be carrying around with us what I would call a narrative. Okay.
Wow.
It is important to challenge the narrative, your personal narrative, not other people's narrative. Challenge your narrative.
That's good.
And so if we're going to look at this biblically as well, the deception, the lies that are always kind of coming at us, your job, when I say you, our job is to uproot the lies that we may have swallowed when we were 5 years old.
Come on. Okay? That's good.
To uproot every lie. So this can be labor intensive sometimes. Okay. But there are certain beliefs that may be holding us down that if we just do a global statement about ourselves, I'm just going to power through this, or I got this, I'm better. But we don't really kind of uproot the lie that maybe a person spoke over us when we were little. Wow. And maybe we carry that identity around, like just an example would be just a generic example, somebody saying you're stupid, you're not smart, and then carrying that through life and kind of what shoots out of that. Or the lies that maybe you told yourself, that we've all maybe told ourselves.
Wow.
And we swallowed that narrative and just carried it like it's truth. So when I look at the Bible talking about the truth setting us free, this is how I interpret it. We need to get in there, uproot it. You don't need to hang there for a lifetime. Uproot it.
That's good.
Challenge that narrative.
That's good.
So good. That's good. Uproot. Tony Johnson said, uproot the Lord from our past.
The lies he meant to say.
The lies from our, and I thought it was Lord because there are a lot of L-O-R-D, small L, lords that had us in a space that was not from the L-O-R-D, the Lord. So Tony, you had me shouting. I don't know which one you meant. Lies.
Both of them make sense.
Come on here.
Tony, are you going to run up and take my mic, Tony? What's going on?
So I see a few questions that kind of go with this next question I have.
Yeah.
Speaking of mental illness, a lot of people are asking, what are some signs or symptoms, or how do you know if that's something you need to be concerned about, mental illness? What are some indications, I guess?
So this is going to be a very generic answer, and partly because there are so many diagnoses out there. Okay. We don't have the time. So I am drawing this information from the DSM, the Diagnostic Statistical Manual, that is the go-to reference source for clinicians.
Okay.
And the Diagnostic Statistical Manual, if you ever look that up, if you're like, what is this symptom I have? Am I this? Am I weird? Am I normal? You know, and so you could really go down rabbit holes in that book. But the general thing I will say on that is, if there is an impairment in your relationships as a result of this thing, an impairment in your job, in your employment, an impairment in your school, an impairment in your health as a result of this, then it's time to take a look. Something's off, you know, kind of how we stated earlier. Address it, you know, get the facts, get the treatment protocols, keep the judgment out of it, okay? So an example I would use, a very generic example I would use, is with alcohol, okay?
Okay.
So using alcohol, if I ask a question in an assessment and I talk to somebody about alcohol, you know, the first thing sometimes people will get very defensive and be like, well, I don't wake up in the morning and you know, have a red eye. I don't wake up in the morning. And it's like, well, I didn't ask that.
Right.
I just asked, what's your relationship with alcohol? And so if there's impairment, you're drinking and you're running late to school, you're running late to work, you're running late to church, you know, you're so hungover that you aren't able to be present emotionally with your kids. So this is, you know, this is a self-assessment, being honest with yourself about it. And so those are kind of the ways of measuring a diagnosis that the DSM uses and that therapists use.
Okay.
That's
All
good.
right. All right. So let me kind of, I'm still deal with the mind. I have another question.
Great.
Is it true that how we manage our mind, how we manage our thoughts, because you said that's a part of the circle, that all three things have to be intact. Is it true that how we manage our mind impacts every part of our body? If that's true, or if not, to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, it is. It can be a cognitive thing that can initially occur. So let's say a person has difficulty regulating emotion, regulating emotion in conflict, regulating anxiety, and those thoughts get spiraling. Okay, part of the hallmarks of anxiety: spiraling thoughts and future predicting and what if. And I call it another term is catastrophizing. You know, like dominoes are about to occur. The dominoes will all hit each other. Yeah. Like if you've seen those videos where the dominoes go all over, and this will happen, and this, and then that can also have an impact. Other hallmarks of anxiety is racing heart, you know, the elevated pulse, the shortness of breath. That's why we talk about these breathing exercises so much, because when you're up in here, up in your head, you're no longer in the center line, which is your strongest, most powerful position. And so that is one way that where your mind is going can have an impact on your body. And then obviously what comes out of your mouth, you know. But also the chemicals that flood through the body. So when we get, I'll keep using the example of, if we're talking anxiety, and that the flooding of chemicals like stress hormones and, you know, like cortisol and adrenaline, we need those. You know, God has designed us in such a manner that I would say there's a fine balance set up for a reason. Okay. So it's not bad, but if we are spiraling and we don't have an outlet, we aren't regulating our system using tools, and there are tools to do this, taking responsibility and implementing these tools daily, in my humble opinion, I think we need it daily. Then what it's like is those chemicals don't have a release. And I picture it like revving the engine of this hot car.
Wow, Yvette.
And your foot's on the brake. So you're going like this, and you've got all this stuff shooting around, but it's not coming out. And so what is that? Okay.
Wow. And because I asked that question because it's like, Nate, y'all, I can just think about something and I feel my heart. It's just like I feel heat coming in my body. My heart starts racing. But I'm like, I ain't gave it that much thought. Like, why is this happening? I can feel when my blood pressure rises now. Like, what's going on? And it's just at the mere thought of something that could potentially be stressful for me. So that's where that question came from. And so you mentioned there are tools and things. Are there practical things that we can do when we start to feel anxious? I guess that's an anxious feeling. Or we start to feel overwhelmed. Are there some practical things? Because I know everybody can't afford to go to see a therapist, right? So are there some things that you can just tell us that when you start to feel anxious, when you start to feel overwhelmed?
That's good.
Yeah, I think that's a great question to really crystallize this, put a fine point on, operationalize it is another word I would use, where we aren't just sitting here talking in vague, hopes and prayers, and that's it. No action attached.
Yeah.
Okay? I heard just hope without action is just cheerleading. Saying I will try is like leaving the door open to fail. Okay, so
wow.
I know I've quoted Yoda in here. Just do. There is no try. Do or do not. Okay.
Right. That's good.
So the actions to be taken when it just to answer your question in a way that where you said you aren't thinking about something stressful necessarily. There might be like bing, like a thought, and then your body just starts reacting.
Yeah.
So I don't see it personally from what I've experienced, observed, and working with people. I don't see it being terribly helpful to try and psychoanalyze why, okay, and to find a question that will never be answered. Like, what is wrong with me? To just be. What I see that doing to people is it just keeps them cycling and going in circles. So maybe one day we'll get to why, we'll get to that stuff. But what I see being way more effective when those symptoms get going is attending to the symptoms and regulating your system as the priority. So the three parts that I mentioned earlier, your cognition, your emotions, your behavior.
Yeah.
You can address any of those. And I see each person having a combination that works the best for them, and finding your combination of what you need to address first is something to be discovered, and precisely what that is. But I'm going to give you general tools. So if you're going to address the body first, let's say, if things are racing so much you can't think straight, we've talked already on a couple things of deep breathing exercises.
Yep.
So the first step in that I like to do is look on a scale. If this represents a scale, 10 is as distressed as you have ever been. 1, you're in your jam. And where are you on that scale right now? And so let's say when all that stuff's going off through the roof, all those bells and whistles and the alarm bells are going off, maybe you're at an 8, maybe you're at a 9, learning yourself to the point, and you as everybody, okay, and myself.
Correct.
But learning yourself to the point where you know what number you operate the most efficiently at, where you say things that are civil and respectful of other and yourself, where you're able to have a clear mind. And so get kind of the number system in your head. Some people are find that very useful to have that scale. And they're like, okay, I'm at a 7, I'm getting closer. Some people are at a point where they shoot 0 to 10 and don't have any awareness in there. Okay. So developing that awareness, strengthening that muscle, and then the deep breathing exercise while I'm talking, we can all do this, is as you inhale, slow it down and make it very conscious and very intentional and full, like fill those lungs fully with air slowly. And when I say slowly, I'll only pause on this for like 15 seconds. So don't worry, we aren't going to do a big breathing exercise, but like the count I would do is 1, 2, 3, 4.
Cherie doing it for real. Go ahead, Cherie. Go ahead.
So inhaling at a very slow pace, pause,
Get it, Cherie.
Exhale like a pinhole in a balloon. It's slow,
Okay.
longer. Okay. There's something with the vagus nerve that's getting pressed that helps us relax when we do this. It's built in. God built this into our systems. So slowly allowing that out, and just keep cycling around on that. So that's a physical thing you can do. Okay. It's not solving the problem. It's not doing it all, but it is helping you regulate your nervous system again. That's kind of taken off on its own, right?
That's so good.
The cognitive portion, some people tell me I can't even come up with things to say. I'm too activated. And so maybe you bring those numbers down, you're at an 8, maybe you start dropping to like a 7 or a 6 or a 5. And then maybe your thoughts are coming back online. This is very biological. This is something I want to encourage everyone in, is it's biological. What's happening when we are getting accelerated like that. It's possible we're going into fight or flight mode. Mm-hmm. We've all heard fight or flight. Mm-hmm. And so there's a portion of the brain called the limbic system that gets activated when we go into fight or flight mode. And so this part of the brain is flooding our body with chemicals, our brain with chemicals. It is getting us ready. Are we going into battle? Do we need to run? I mean, this is stuff, like I said, it's built into our system for a reason. But if we're in a conversation with a spouse who is not abusive, then we don't need full-blown limbic system fight or flight on full effect. We don't need that, okay? And so working with your system.
That's so good. Cherie, did you hear this?
Like work with your biology. Like, okay, I know my brain's going offline, limbic system. I know some people call it primitive or lizard brain, okay? I know this is happening. I need to take a pause. You don't need to tell another person their limbic system's activated because they'll get defensive. But I need to take a pause. And then what's happening when you take that pause is it allows your brain to go back, what I would call online, into the prefrontal cortex, which is kind of right behind here. Mm-hmm. And that's like your executive functioning. That's where you're logical.
Come on, Yvette.
You're saying beautiful things to your significant other. You're poetic again. Okay. And so working with your biology, working with time, knowing, like I said earlier, there's like a combination for all of us that's different. And so how long does it take you to get for the chemicals to recede? And then let's say, can I make one last point on this?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Okay. If you're in a relationship with a significant other, and one of the hardest things for people to do is emotionally regulate around each other in conflict resolution. And so having that capacity to take the pause, and not use that time to go talk to a friend and just go off on the person. But work on regulating, bringing those numbers down, not going off and having a drink. Okay. Take the pause, do the work, and then come back to the conversation. Tell that person, I'll be back. So this is, I've found this emotional regulation part when it comes to anger is one of the most challenging that people deal with.
It's so good.
That's good stuff.
I'm looking at some of the comments. That was a question that passed. Go ahead, Cherie.
Well, no, I was going to ask you, because this next question is going to take us over, unless you want me to ask it. Well, I had another question, but we can wait, and I can save it to the next day.
And I got more myths for you, too.
So let me ask you, Nate, what is one thing you find how do you know when you're entering into a place of anxiety or being overwhelmed? Mm-hmm. For me, I actually feel I believe I feel my blood pressure rising and my heart starts, and I just kind of get, that's the thing I need to attend to first, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm decompressing. I need to, what do I need to do to calm down and get my pressure down?
And you know what was amazing when she was talking about breathing, I actually saw you left this show. Let me just tell you straight up, you left the show and you were in, because I know what you've been going through, and I'm not saying that in a joking way. It was just, you want freedom so bad with these feelings. And I dealt with, and I was very transparent, when I was in grad school, I dealt with anxiety attacks, panic attacks, because in my mind, I feared that I was going to fail exams. So I had already predetermined that I was going to fail. I predetermined that my paper was not going to be satisfactory. I used to literally feel it coming. Palpitations. Is that the right word, Yvette? Heart palpitations. Palpitations. Yeah, all that. My heart. And to the point where I would call 911.
Wow.
Because in my mind, I'm having a heart attack. I'm about to die. But it was panic. It was stress. So I love what she said about your thinking, your thoughts.
Yeah.
I have this quote, Yvette, I used to give our youth years and years ago. Watch your thoughts. They become your words. Watch your words. They become your actions. Watch your actions. They become your habits. Mm-hmm. Watch your habits. They become your character. Watch your character. They become your destiny. Wow. And it all starts, though, with thoughts.
Cognitive thinking.
Say that word again.
What's the right word? What is it, Yvette?
Your cognitions.
Okay, the cognitions.
And that was my thing. So, Cherie, for me, it starts with just accelerated heartbeat. I know I'm going into it. It's about its on and popping, baby. If I don't get this under control,
but I think it's so good for us to know that. When we start feeling that's okay, you need to stop. It's about to be off. So you need to tend to that. And that's why I was asking for practical things that we can do.
Yeah, the question or the comment you made earlier also about rest. Is sometimes I'll try to be brief on this, like the myth of if I just work harder and force it. Especially like anxiety, I see people who are just like perseverating, they're spiraling, like working so hard, and the contra indicator, it's counterintuitive, but it's to do the opposite. So it's not push, work harder, force. It's take the gas off. It is take a rest. It is like in conflict resolution, take the pause. It is not passive by any means. Mm-hmm. It is not, this is a very active approach, but it's done in a different way. So going like this is not what we need when all this stuff is getting churned up. Okay, we need to attend, we need to look here, we need to attend to our nervous system. And two pieces on that meditative breathing part that can help and add to this is sometimes what we need is a hug. So I'm going to sound all therapist-y right now, but we might not have that accessible. So I would recommend touching your heart, touching your heart when you're doing that calming down.
Come on.
And the gentleness and the kindness is like treating that part of you that's just freaking out for whatever reason. We don't need to go down a rabbit hole. Why is this happening? Why is this happening? That will keep the spiral going. Okay. Mm-hmm. So maybe later, why did this happen? We can look at it, or you can take a look at it. Yeah. But for now, attending and soothing that part like you would calm a puppy, like you would calm a baby. Okay. Mm-hmm. And speak into yourself. We all talk to ourselves, by the way. Speak into yourself life. Speak like what would calm the system down.
That's so good.
If there's a person standing in front of you so agitated, you can see it on their face. They're so good. That you can see it. What would you say to just bring those levels down and calm that person down?
I like that.
Use that in the moment.
Yvette, I see a comment, and I don't know if you've ever heard of this. David Dredden, our AOD classes, we used to teach thought stopping.
Yes.
Having a word that you yell out to stop your thought pattern. Is that something you've practiced with your clients or something you recommend? Because I be yelling stuff, but I don't know if it be right stuff. I be yelling.
You yell out.
So I agree with it in that the truth is we are not at the whims and the mercy of our emotions and our thoughts, although it can feel like it. Go back to point one. Feelings are not facts, okay?
Yeah.
But it can feel like we're at the whim and the mercy if that heart rate's just like going, okay? And so sometimes there will be associated thoughts which are going down that path, that well-worn path of hopeless, helpless, powerless. I am just here to be a victim. You know, that kind of stuff. This will never change. I'm stuck like this. This is my identity. This is my lot in life. Like any identification of any of that stuff does not belong. That's the stuff that needs to be uprooted.
Come on.
But in the moment, talking to yourself, yeah, like, you know, you could do thought stopping, you could scream, you could say, no, that's not true. No, that is not true. And so what I call it is using fact to chisel away at the fantasy. You know, I always use this this hand motion to say, like, you notice it, you observe it happening, get in there and chisel away at that and counter that, challenge that thought with facts. Okay, what are the facts about what happened in the situation that you're upset about?
That's
You know,
so
what are the facts about your identity? What are the facts about how you pulled yourself through the last time this happened?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not letting yourself get swept into into this emotional logic, which it's harmful. And so it's not going to serve you to get carried away in that. What's going to serve you better, what's going to serve you at all, is, yeah, put a stop on it. No, that's not true. Here's what's true. Or to ask yourself, do I know with 100% certainty that that's a fact?
Wow.
Is that true? Not really, you know. So thought stopping, talking to yourself like that, not letting it go on and on and on, tearing your character down. That is not God's design for us. It's there. It will crop up because our brains drift, what I would call into entropy. That's what our brains do. So if you're on the road and you take your hands off the steering wheel and your vehicle is going to do this. So it is our job to grab those thoughts and redirect.
Come on here. This is so good.
Because you addressed it and you prayed about it and you captured it. You're like, yeah, I agree with you. Your thoughts are still going to drift later today. Okay. But that doesn't mean you're failing. That doesn't mean this is your lot in life to just suck. Okay. That is not true. So it is all of our jobs to adult in this manner and grab it. We notice it happening, grab it, redirect. Yeah. Grab it. Yep. There it goes. It's doing its thing. Redirect.
Mm-mm. I could talk to her all day, but I ain't got.
No, and I don't either. I gotta go to work.
We gotta go. The questions that came in, I will
take them into tomorrow.
We'll take them into tomorrow. Anita Fisher, y'all, who's also well versed in mental health, mental illness. We've learned a lot today. Yvette, you are absolutely phenomenal.
Awesome.
Yeah. It's just helpful, and so many comments. And Yvette, you got to go back and watch.
Yes.
You know, the comments that came through. So Cherie, we'll stop for today. But again, y'all, Yvette took out of her time, and so we'll make sure we get her lunch today. And all she eat is salads with maybe chicken on them. So we are excited to be able to send her to lunch today. So if you want to be a blessing to Yvette, you could do that today. Because she worked us in her schedule today, y'all. And that's a blessing. The Faith Room one, just put in there therapist, and we'll know where to earmark that to. If you're doing it for the Faith Room meetup, you can put in the meetup, and we'll know where those funds go to. But make sure you put in there therapist, and we'll get that to her today because she is 100% great. Cherie, any final words, sis?
This has been phenomenal. And I think everybody would do yourself well to take notes, because maybe you haven't had any incidents or any instances where you need this, but you will, or you can share this with somebody else. I'm in the moment. It's like a new thing for me now. I've never been here before, and so I want to know what things I can do to be well.
Absolutely. And the thing about it, Cherie, we are real people
Mm-hmm.
with real concerns. In Faith Room, until you can get naked with your truth,
Yeah.
you ain't never gonna get help. Cherie done came in here honest. I done told you my story honest, because people don't have a heaven or hell to put you in.
That's it.
And you serve a loving Jesus, man. We got Jesus in heaven with a 45 caliber pistol ready to shoot and kill us. God is love.
Yeah.
Please don't forget that, people.
Amen.
And he wants you to win. He wants you to make it. He wants you to survive so we can be honest with a loving God.
Yes.
That's all I got, because I'm going to start crying if I don't stop. Yvette, will you pray us out, because you are a Christian therapist and you
That's
love
right.
the Lord. Will you just pray us out for today?
Yes. Jesus, thank you for this time that we've had to fellowship.
Yes.
We've had to be honest with each other and lift each other up. I pray for continued wisdom for all of us, that we can execute what we know, what we've learned. And if we are struggling to figure it out, that we will get we'll get educated on it. We'll learn how to do it differently. I pray for these co-hosts who care so much about all your people and this show, this program. I thank you. I pray for blessings for them. Remind them you've got this, and you really adore the work that they're doing. You adore them. Thank you so much. These things I pray in your name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
Y'all have a great day. Anita Fisher tomorrow, y'all. We'll keep the conversation going. Take care. Peace.
Bye.
Peace.